Okay, so a lot of times people find me either Google, a lot of times it can be a referral, but mostly social media, Instagram, Facebook. I am all over real estate with LaShon or LaShon Spicer. You can find me under, but a lot of times it's either referrals or Google is how most people have been finding me. Well, a lot of times I deal with people who are relocating to Pensacola, whether it's for military, a job, or just to be close to family. So that's basically what I've been focused on and love, actually. I really do enjoy the process of helping people find a home, especially when it's such a stressful time when they're moving from one state to another. They have put all of their trust in me to find them the perfect home for them and their family. So the first thing I do is I always like to sit down with my sellers and we will do a walkthrough of their home. We go over all the details of their home, whether there have been any upgrades, any major changes to the home I need to know so that I can price it accurately. So then we go through and we sit down and talk about, my favorite thing to ask a seller is what their favorite thing is about the home. That will make sure that I highlight what they really enjoy and what they've really appreciated out of being in that particular home. A lot of times they just don't know what to focus on. So, everybody will highlight the kitchen. That's a big thing. Nowadays, it's more the open concept situation. So any homes that are easy for entertaining, they know that part, that it's going to be a huge highlight. I really haven't had any troubles with people not knowing what to highlight. I think a lot of times people have done their research before listing their home, so that helps me out a lot. But I do really enjoy the walkthroughs because it really gives me an in-depth an in-depth view on their property. Not really, not yet. I haven't found anything that's been too out of control where I couldn't sell it. But there have definitely been some questionable maybe items, I would say, but not necessarily anything crazy, for sure. So that's a really good question. A lot of times if the house is vacant, most people can see their items in the home easier than they can with it being staged. And it's 50-50 for me. Most of the time, if it's properly staged or if there's awkward spaces, then people will be like, oh, I did not know that I could do this with this particular space. So that gives them an idea of what they could do when they move in. So a lot of time, it's 50-50 on that, really. As a good realtor, I feel like interior design and decorating, all of that should kind of be incorporated with what we do. And seeing so many homes, I've gotten to know a lot of different techniques that will improve a listing or take away from a listing. So the main thing that sellers need to know is to depersonalize their home. Potential buyers want to see themselves in the property. So if you're leaving behind personal items, they're focused on that personal item and not where they could be in the particular home. No. So, some people probably do that, but I don't. We just put up some really nice artwork or something like that to kind of camouflage the personalization of a particular home. What I'm finding a lot from sellers is that they don't know their neighborhood. It's so important here's the thing, we're in a world where people don't go to their neighbors as often. A lot of people are so close in their homes and their home bodies, and that's perfectly fine, but getting out to know your neighborhood and your area, all the nuances that go on in your particular environment. That is so important for us as agents to know. But also on the other hand, as a good agents, we should be driving the neighborhoods and just doing our due diligence on our part so that we can give the best information into our listings when we're actually listing it and it goes live online. Gosh, I've been all over the place. I mean, I've sold in Crestview, I've sold in Panama City, I've sold Pensacola. So I don't have a particular area per se that I stay in, that's for sure. A lot of the popular zip codes, 32506, I've sold in that as well. And that's closer to the base. Again, I do a lot of relocation, so a lot of people when they're relocating want to come in and be close to the base because that's what they know and that's what they're comfortable with. So I'm looking forward to in the upcoming year branching out to other parts of Pensacola for sure. I get this question all the time, which market are we currently in? Well, what's good to know is that recently the interest rates have gone down for at least 3 consecutive weeks in a row, so that's really good. We are heading towards a buyer's market. Pensacola is different in a lot of ways because, and each agent will tell you different. I'm pretty optimistic, so I know people are always moving in and out of Pensacola. It's just that type of environment that we have. So I would still say that we're moving towards a buyer's market for sure. During the holidays, it's kind of hard to tell because historically, this is our slower season. People are more focused on Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year. So it is slower during this time, but we still have a lot of buyers out there and we still have a lot of people selling. So when preparing your home, it is so important to, again, depersonalize the home. Maybe touching up the paint, making sure all the rooms are neutral colors. Definitely curb appeal and landscaping is super important. Making sure all the major systems such as the HVAC, the hot water heater, the roof, making sure that those are up to date. And as far as a roof, I know a lot of times people will get new roofs, but they're not permitted. That's super important to have your roof permitted as well. I oftentimes will suggest to potential sellers to get a home inspection. That'll give them kind of a blueprint of what's going on with their home if they haven't been doing the regular annual maintenance, that's for sure. But definitely a home inspection will help bring out anything that's wrong with the home, and it will help them kind of give them a jump start on negotiations if there is something found that they may not necessarily want to fix. Maybe they can offer a credit or something in the negotiations. It just depends, but definitely I would always suggest getting a home inspection. Not necessarily improve the value, that's where the appraisal comes in. But again, it just gives them a blueprint or just a snapshot of what may come up when potential buyers do their own home inspection. So I do love my buyers. That's just what I love to do. I love the hustle and bustle of seeing new homes and seeing several homes, taking them all around Pensacola and surrounding areas. That's what I love to do. But I do really enjoy the process of helping people sell their home and moving on to their next journey. So I can do both very well, and I love to do both very well. So anytime you want to give me that opportunity, I'd be more than happy. The very first thing I will tell someone who potentially wants to purchase a home is to get a pre-approval. That is the first thing for a couple of different reasons. A, it just gives us an opportunity to figure out where we land as far as the budget goes. We need to know how much of a home we can purchase, so that's the first thing. The second thing is a lot of times when you're going to these homes and depending on the market, let's say when we're in a buyer's market, you want to be ready to write out a contract. We don't want to wait, a couple of days to get a pre-approval from a lender when there's 2 or 3 other offers in. They're going to go with those offers because they already have their paperwork in line. So it's so important to get pre-approval before you even start looking at homes. So getting pre-approved through a lender, I can suggest lenders, or you can find a lender on your own, but that's a mortgage company who's going to run a soft check on all of your financial history to know what you can afford in purchasing a home. I always send my clients a buyer's questionnaire, and on that questionnaire, it just kind of gives me a guideline and asks them several questions on their lifestyle, their family size, what they're looking for in a home, what they're used to as far as neighborhoods, schools that they're interested in. So it's about 25 questions asking them just, what their preferences are, if you will. And then from then on, I can kind of reduce the amount of homes by checking off each one of their features or wants or needs. So it kind of helps me to determine and scale back on I don't want to send them 50,000 homes to look at, I want to kind of scale that back and send them probably about 20 to 30 to filter through it first. And once they do that the first time, then and choose a couple of different houses, then I'll go back and say, okay, this is what's common in what you're looking for. This is what's not common in what you're looking for. So that kind of, a lot of times people are surprised, like, oh, I didn't know I wanted an open concept, or I didn't know that a 2-car garage was really that important to me. I just want more space. So it just really depends on what they need, but we definitely do a buyer's consultation to figure out what their needs and wants are, because I don't want to put them in just any home. I want to make sure they're going to be comfortable, that everything that they're used to, they have the majority of that, if not more. So right now, the most common thing, definitely open concept. A lot of times people are looking for more storage in their homes, especially in the older homes when there's not as much storage spaces. So just trying to figure out creative ways to store whatever they have, that's super important. Schools, neighborhoods are very, very important right now. And that's generally it. Everything else just falls on the side of preferences. But definitely schools, neighborhoods, the area, things to do in Pensacola is really, really important to a lot of people moving here. So what I generally do is I will schedule all the showings, usually the night before, so that I make sure that there's no, it's not sold overnight. I'll also check it first thing in the morning as well, but I will send my clients an itinerary generally the night before to let them know where we're going, each stop. And then I also print out all the details of each particular home. I make a copy for myself and one for them, so that after we've seen 8 or 9 houses, they can take their notes and they can refer back to them, because after seeing so many homes in one day, everything is a blur at that point. So it's so important for them to have that paperwork, jot down all of the things that they liked and did not like, so that they can always go back to it and make a proper decision. I have had that once, but that was someone who was local. Again, a lot of my people are relocations, so we'll go through 15, 20 homes, before they actually land on a particular home. Yeah, so and a lot of times I'll be doing virtual tours, which is cool as well. I love doing virtual tours, or I'll have them on FaceTime and I'm just, angling the camera so that I can show them all the nooks and crannies of the home, So, but what's also cool what's also cool is that my husband a lot of times will come with me because he's a home inspector, and he will show them while we're on camera or while they're on the phone the major components of the house. Oh, listen, I have been literally sitting in someone's driveway getting ready to show a home, and I get a text from the agent, sorry, we're just under contract, we're canceling the showings. It's happened several times. Yes, it's super annoying. It's a little bit embarrassing because, you know, we're sitting there with the clients waiting to go in, and all of a sudden it's under contract. So that's a little bit frustrating, but we work through it and we go on to the next one. It's all in how you react, you know. So I just, you know, politely let them know I'm so sorry. I just got a message. They just went under contract with someone else. And a lot of times, here's the thing, you can ask the agent at that point. As far as me as a realtor, I can ask the agent and say, hey, are you guys accepting backup offers? Because if you're accepting backup offers, we'd still love to be able to go tour the home. So you can kind of do that. If they don't accept it, there's nothing you can do, you know. But if they are accepting backup offers, that's the first thing I would check, and then we'd either be able to go in and tour it. If not, it's totally fine. Gosh, so I am completely obsessed with mid-century modern. Like, bring on Brady Bunch for sure. Because I don't know why I love it. It's just different. You don't see it often anymore. There have been a few of my favorites here in Pensacola that I've been able to tour and are absolutely gorgeous. But yeah, I would definitely have to say mid-century modern. So I don't particularly have a preference, but I understand a lot of times, again, when people are relocating, they do not want any surprises. So with newer homes, there's no real surprises. You know, the AC should not go out in the next year. You know, there's so many benefits to having new construction, but I really do enjoy seeing the character of older established homes. But again, that's just a matter of preference for each client. So far, most of my clients have gone with the character of established homes, but new construction is definitely a great option. And I know this time of year, they are doing an enormous amount of incentives for buyers right now. So it's definitely a good time for new construction. Yeah, actually I do sell condos. A lot of my investors do condos, townhomes, that type of thing. But yeah, it's a big deal. Condos for short-term rentals. And I have a couple investors that do single-family homes for Airbnb purposes. But a lot of my investors are into condos and multifamily homes. Right now, it's a good time for investors to get in on these great deals that are going on for different condos. I know a lot of times they are fix and flips. They haven't been done in years because they were owner occupied. But, you know, you can get some really good deal as an investor for a condo or a townhome right now. Gulf Breeze is really big for condos, townhomes, short-term rentals, Gulf Breeze. Navarre as well, but Navarre tends to be a little bit on the pricey side for some of my investors. So a lot of my investors really right now are sticking to either Gulf Breeze or Pensacola proper. So a lot of times when they're pre-approved, I always have people look at what's under, you know, because yes, you're pre-approved for a home that's $350,000. Do you want to shop for homes for $369,000? No, you should not, because anything above the $350,000, you're going to pay out of pocket. So I don't suggest that for my buyers. I always, if they're approved for $350,000, then let's look at homes for $325,000. That kind of gives you some wiggle room when you're negotiating as well. So I don't suggest them going straight out of the gate to their maximum at all, because then unless you have cash on hand, then there's no wiggle room. That's a loaded question, because then that gets into affordable housing, and what people can actually afford. I feel like any homes under, I would say 250 right now, there's not a lot of options that are completely move-in ready. Everything's just done. Check mark, check mark, check mark. There are not a lot of options in that aspect. So, unless you open your mind and go in knowing that, hey, I may have a DIY project that I need to do here and there, then those are the options that are available right now. Absolutely. So with my brokerage, I have a network all over the country, and we're in 23 countries actually. So I can get you a really good agent that I make sure I vet anywhere in the country. So you don't have to worry about that. So the average is 30 to 45 days for the buyers to complete their due diligence, whether it's home inspections, they have the pest inspections, then there's appraisal, and then there's a period where the lenders need to get all their paperwork and it goes to underwriting to get approved. Once that happens and underwriting says clear to close, which are my favorite words, then we will deal with the title company and we will work on a closing date. Generally, we already have the closing date established, so it's just meeting that closing date is the goal for everyone involved. Gosh, deals can fall apart easily. Deals can fall apart due to, again, inspections. The homeowner not knowing or not doing their part in keeping up the home. That could be an issue. It could be a matter of after a buyer has gotten pre-approved, there are some things, if they go out and make purchases, big purchases that mess up their debt to income ratio, then the deal can fall apart. So there's a lot of little things after the contract is signed that each agent on both ends, as well as the lender and the buyer, we all have different responsibilities that we need to take care of to make sure the process goes smoothly. The biggest thing is communicating, between all parties. That is my biggest thing. I try to check in on each of my contracts daily. I keep a great line of communication open with the title company, with the lender, the other agent, inspectors, all of that, so that we're all on one page.